Welcome back, guys. This is the One Championship and Power preview. My name is Keith Shillan. I'm a writer for Sherdog.com. This is being brought to you by Sherdog.com. We have an absolute loaded card. We have an incredible title fight in the main event. We also have the opening round of One Championship Atomweight tournament. This all goes down this Friday, September 3rd at 8:30 a.m. in the East Coast in the United States. Head over to One Championship, wherever you're living. Check out the best way to view this card. I don't want to miss it, but in case you were thinking about skipping, I'll give you 3 reasons why you don't want to miss. Number one, the main event, we have a true striker versus grappler matchup as we have Jingnan versus Michelle Nicolini. Jingnan is the strawweight champion. She is undefeated in the weight class. She has some of the most exciting matchups in One Championship history. Go back to her battles with her battle with Angeli, or her battles with Angeli, her battles with Tiffany Teo. Then you got the Brazilian Nicolini, who's a 13-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. She has 5 submission wins on her record. She's coming off a win over Angeli in her last fight, one of the biggest stars in One Championship, Angeli. So that's a really exciting matchup. So that's one reason. Number two, the Atomweight tournament is loaded with talent. I mean, you got Denice Zamboanga. Let me say this correctly. Zamboanga. Angaya. I apologize if I say people's names wrong. If you ever watch any of my other previews, Ben Duffy is the pronunciation expert. I just try. But she's undefeated. You got Itsuki Hirata, who's also undefeated. They're both in the card. You have Sihi Ham, who is a former Rising champion who actually didn't lose her belt. She was a reigning Rising champion. She's coming into to One Championship, making her debut. You got Fairtex, who's a former Muay Thai world champion. And those are just some of the people in the card, in the tournament. It's loaded. And the third reason, there's so many intangibles in this tournament. We have 8 fighters in the tournament representing 8 countries. We have the United States, Japan, India, China, Ukraine, Thailand, South Korea, and the Philippines all being represented in this. But also, what I love about this, this is the future of One Championship, the future of the Atomweight division, the future of MMA, because these fighters, for the most part, like a whole bunch of them are extremely young. We have a 22-year-old, a 23-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 26-year-old, and a 27-year-old. So of the 8 females in this contest, we have 6 of them under 27 years old or younger. So you got to like that. So before I get to my predictions, I actually have a special guest. We're going to get to her right now. One of the fighters in the Grand Prix. All right, guys, I just told you 3 reasons why you need to watch this event. But I said I had a special guest, and it's actually one of the females who are fighting in this tournament. We have Alyse Anderson, who returns to action on September 3rd in the Empower Atomweight tournament, and she takes on Itsuki Hirata. Alyse, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm excellent. Thanks for asking. So it's been a long time since we've seen you in action. Tell us, like, how excited are you to get back in there?
Super excited, especially now that I've been training full time. This is like the first time in my career that I've like got to focus on being a full-time fighter. So I know it's been like a little layoff, but I still been training and improving. So I'm ready to show how much I've improved September 3rd.
Yeah, that's really exciting to hear. Someone who's about to make predictions on these fights. 2 things I always say that I see big improvements in fighters is age and when they can be able to switch to full time. And you're kind of got both things going because you're full time, but you're also 26. So you're in that golden age, about 23 to 27 is where you make big leaps. So you're right there. So you said you're gonna make some improvements. I know you're fighting now to MMA Masters now. Tell us what it's been 2 years. What are these improvements we're gonna see?
Like I do think like age kind of helped me like mature in the sport and stuff. Like not fight so much out of like anger and emotion, like more strategically, which like a lot when you're fighting amateur, there's not really any game plans. It's just like going out there and fighting. But since I've been at MMA Masters, especially when we got the matchup that was Itsuki, we've just been like really training like a game plan, And because the fight got postponed, I've just been like working this game plan now like all summer. So it's been awesome being able to train full time, and MMA Masters really has like I've tried so many different gyms just because like some gyms have like great grappling and great other ones have great striking, but this for me I just feel like is the gym that can really put it all together.
Excellent. Nice. So one of the things that stands out is it's been 2 years since you got in the cage. Obviously, having a long layoff obviously means you get a lot of practice in. We can see big improvements. But on the flip side, some people it's a negative that they feel like the timing gets a little messed up, and you can spar hard in the gym, but it's different than an actual fight. Is there any worry about like ring rust or anything like that?
I actually think that I fight better in the cage than when I train,
Okay.
uh, which like teammates have told me that too, which I guess I was offended a little bit when people first told me that, but I'd rather it be that than the
Yeah,
opposite. So
absolutely.
I guess I'm not that offended, but I just feel like I know when I like to pull the trigger, and like that's really hard to teach a fighter, like because some fighters can like beat everyone up in the gym, and then like when they get to the fight they're like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different fighter. So and I think that's just something you can't teach, and it's something that won't go away, and I know that I have that, so I'm not worried about the layoff.
Yeah. And plus, when you're in the gym with your teammate, at the end of the day, you're not trying to hurt your teammate. You're trying to get you both better. You're not when you got your opponent down. You're not dropping knees on their face. You're not trying to get them out of their future fights either. You're just trying to improve each other. So let's talk about you. You're 26 years old. You have a really nice record. You were making some noise in Invicta. Why you got a good management team with Brian Butler. You got obviously you just said you joined MMA Masters. That's a great team. You had a lot of opportunities. Why the route of one championship? Why not something in America, one of these other organizations?
Honestly, like I kind of like lost the fire to keep fighting full time, or even like because when I would take a fight, I would take like 6 weeks off of work from the hospital and like dedicate like that whole 6 weeks, and I was still losing money on fights, even fighting at Invicta, which is a great promotion, but like taking 6 weeks off of work plus going to like Las Vegas or a camp for 6 weeks, like the expenses like that come with all of that, I was still losing money every fight, and then you pay management and you pay your coaches, and so like to request, especially when COVID hit, I worked the COVID units, to request like 6 to 8 weeks off for a fight and then like lose money, it was like there was no really like end goal in America for atom weights.
Sure.
Like even being the atom weight champion, they have to like still work, and it's just the promotion can't provide like that financial support for their fighters. And when ONE FC offered like the deal to where I could be able to quit my job, and it's every fighter's dream to be a full time fighter, like I just couldn't pass up the opportunity.
Well, absolutely. It's obviously money is always going to be the number one decision. Number one factor in a decision. Let's talk about your opponent, Azuke Hirata. You said you kind of knew what the field was going to be. Did you have an idea like, hey, this is the girl I want to fight, or was there somebody else that you were hoping as a first round matchup?
I like between the time they announced like everyone that was in the tournament and when I got my matchup was only like 2 weeks. But I looked through everyone and most of them were strikers. So like in my head I thought I'd be fighting more of a striker, and then when they gave me Itsuki I was like, oh, it's a judo girl. Like that's not what I pictured, but when I saw her record and that she was undefeated, I did like the matchup because I think that even though she's undefeated, it's a very winnable fight for me.
Yeah, and I mean, and you have submission wins on your record. I think go back to when you had like basically a flying triangle in one of your fights, and you're very competent on the ground. So, like, Is that what you expect? You expect this to be a ground battle, or you have a big, long reach advantage? You think you're just going to pick apart of the feet, or is it what are you expecting in this matchup?
I saw in one of her interviews like today. Actually, my dad always calls me and like lets me know, even though like I don't like to always know what like my opponent is saying. But like she said that she's gonna either keep KO me or sub me, and it's not gonna go to decision. But she really hopes to win by submission because she knows she has a better ground game, which I just think she hasn't been tested on the ground yet. So, and she's also said like that she's prepared to go against someone with my reach. So I guess we'll just see if she really is prepared for that because I'm like really tall for 105, and yeah, I'm prepared for it to go to the ground, but I would like to put her on her back and see where she hasn't been there before.
Absolutely. Now, what is do you have a prediction that you think you're going to sub her? You think I mean, she's saying she's going to knock you out or submit you. What's your prediction?
I see me winning by submission.
All right.
Just because I don't think she's gone against someone with as good of grappling as me. She's faced a lot of strikers with not the best grappling.
Now, you just mentioned your father. Your father's been around in the sport of MMA for a long time. I know you mentioned that he was in the corner of Harold Howard at UFC 3. No, I go way back. I go back to UFC 6. That's the first event that I ever saw on a VHS disc. For someone to go back further than me, I got to give him props. So you kind of grew up around this. Like he's was involved in MMA, and this is kind of something that you always kind of knew you were going to do.
Uh, I've always been around it, but not until I was like 14, 15 that I
Okay.
was, this is something I'm gonna do. When he took me to like watch like some local fights that, um, cause yeah, UFC 3, like I was like just a baby,
Yeah, yeah,
so I don't remember like him cornering or any of that. But he would still put on like the VHS of us and be like, "That's me with the mullet right there." So like I knew what it
yeah.
was, just never pictured me doing it until I was a little bit older and started training jiu-jitsu and went. So I'm like, at the first local show there was a girl fight, and I was like, "Oh dang, that's crazy! Like I think I could do that." And then like my first fight was in 2013 when I was 18 and in high school.
Yeah.
And like uh, people are like, well, because I said like I have experience over at Itsuki, and they're like, well, not really because you haven't fought in 2 years,
Sure.
and she's had 4 fights in the last 2 years, and I'm like, okay, well, what was Itsuki doing in 2013?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure she was like in middle school or something. So, um, like that's where I feel like the experience, because like I've been around it my whole life, and not just like boxing or jiu-jitsu, like I've been around MMA.
Yeah. Plus, does Suzuki's dad have a cool mullet? That's we gotta find that out. Speaking of
Yeah.
mullets, I mean Harold Howard had a legendary mullet too. The guy that he was cornering. So obviously we're talking about Azuke, but there's other girls in the tournament. Obviously, you got to if you win, you move on. You have a semifinals matchup, then a finals matchup. Is it hard to focus on Azuke and not kind of like peek ahead?
I have literally haven't peeked ahead at all. My dad has though, which is like so frustrating because it's like super easy for me to just like tunnel vision on Itsuki, and then he'll call me and be like talk about like Meng and what they're doing, and I'm like, I just don't care, Dad. I just don't
You'll
care.
figure that out later.
Yeah,
Is he
and
kind of
he's
like your strategist? Is that his kind of role?
no,
No, no, he's
he's
just a
just a
dad.
yeah, just calls me like 3 times a day asking how training's going. I lived at home when I was working and stuff, so um, like we talked MMA like every day when I'd come home from work and stuff. So I think that he kind of misses me too, like
Sure.
just talking about MMA and stuff. So he'll call and ask, like he's checking on my dog, but I know like in the next minute he's gonna ask how training's going.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, he just wants to talk. I get it. I have 2 daughters. I get it. He just wants to talk to his daughter. Um,
oh yeah, if you're a dad, then you totally know what I'm
yeah,
talking
I'm,
about.
I'm I, yeah, that I'm a with a hashtag girl dad. Like, I get it. Yeah, yeah. So at the end of the tournament, the winner gets to challenge Angela Lee for the title. Why are you confident you win that matchup? Are you even looking at that yet? Or I mean, you got to peek to the champion a little bit, right?
Yeah, I've actually like when I first was interested in one before the Grand Prix and stuff. She was like the girl I watched the most, just because she was dominating everyone, and like that was like my weight class. Even though their weight stuff is a little bit different, it's like kind of considered atom weight with straw weight, I
Sure,
guess.
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
And I feel like she's like someone that's more close to my size that's an atom weight, just like
Similar build and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So I actually enjoyed watching her and seeing her, and I always thought that it would be a great fight between us because of like our similarities. And I'm really just not looking past the first round, but it would just be such an awesome opportunity to be able to fight her because I've been watching her for so long.
Yeah, and I've talked to many people from one championship, and ultimately they'd like to eventually hold a card in America. Now, obviously, COVID is putting a stall on everything, but that'd be pretty exciting. Two American stars. I think that if they're going to put on a main event, that could be a main event right there. I don't want to get too far ahead. Let's just say last question for you, and I appreciate the time. You're making your one championship debut, so there's it's a big matchup in your debut. I mean, you're right into the tournament, so there's a lot of eyes. There's a lot of fans that especially the Asian market that might not be familiar with what you did, especially in Victor and everything. What kind of statement are you going to make, and what are fans going to be saying about you right after the fight?
I think that just like because people don't know who I am and seeing like the style that I bring, like the very aggressive, I don't back up that much and I always try to stay busy and I just know that um, they're just gonna see that I belong in this tournament and that I think that I'm definitely overlooked, especially the first round because Itsuki has been fighting for one for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope to shock the fans and a little upset, and I don't mind being the underdog. It's like the first time for me, so like everyone keeps saying, "Oh, that means there's no pressure," but I just want to perform well and make my gym proud and my family proud and my manager proud. So I do feel some pressure, but I just know that I can pull the trigger when I get in there.
Well, I wish you good luck in this fight, and if you win and you advance, I wish you good luck throughout the entire tournament.
Thank you so much.
There you guys have it. That's Alyse Anderson. She returns in the opening round of the Atomweight tournament. She takes on Itsuki Hirata. Now, I'm going to give you my predictions on all those fights of that one, plus the main event. Stick around, guys. All right, guys. Now it's the time to actually get into these fights and start previewing them and breaking them down, giving my predictions. Before I actually preview these main card bouts, the four Atomweight matchups and the main event, I just ask you guys, bear with me with anything that had to do with pronunciation. If I say a fighter's name wrong, I apologize. I did my film study. I naturally struggle with pronunciation. I struggle even worse with fighters with Asian names. So bear with me. I try my best. Kill me for my terrible predictions. Don't kill me for pronunciation. I guess I apologize ahead of time. Anyways, let's get right into it. First matchup of the Atomweight tournament, we have Alyse Anderson versus Itsuki Hirata. I'll start with Anderson. She's coming off a 2-year layoff, moving up from 105 pounds to this tournament at 115 pounds. I was watching her last fight, and I have no clue how her last fight was a split decision. I thought she clearly won all 3 rounds against Kitty Shaw. But back to her style, I just want to throw that out there. She's a long and lengthy fighter. She's tall for the weight. Even though she's moving up in weight, she's actually tall and big for the weight class. She's light on her feet. She has a style where she likes to just stay on the outside and kind of stick, move, and then suddenly she bursts forward with a Richard Lodge combination. She closes this distance when she bursts forward really well due to her height and her long legs. She has such long legs that she can 1 or 2 steps and she's right on her opponent. When she isn't blitzing, though, she kind of can sit back and be a little gun shy, throwing like singles. I shouldn't say gun shy. It's just just throwing single strikes. She should, throw more than just one punch. She lacks power. She's at the age, though, she might be coming into her power, but she does lack power. Throws a lot of kicks, though. She will mix in a takedown herself, mostly get into a clinch, upper body trips. She can overextend and reach sometimes when she's going for a takedown. But if the fight hits the ground, she is a good grappler, good back takes, uses those long legs to get back control. She looks for the body triangle from those positions because of her long legs. She is a submission threat. I go back a couple fights ago. She hit a flying triangle in a fight. So let's move on to her opponent, Hirata. Only 22 years old. This fighter is undefeated. On the feet, she's very raw on the feet. She basically looks uncomfortable at this point. From when I last seen her fight, and she may have improved since then. She has a high guard defense. Kind of ducks her head a little bit when she's throwing. That's going to leave her open to a knee or an uppercut, as she moves up the ranks. She also can overextend and reach on her strikes, so kind of like leaving a lot of arm punches. She does close the distance well, and she almost looks for it immediately because she wants to get to the fight to the ground. She likes to get in the clinch, grind in the clinch. She wants to get chest to chest, look for trip takedowns inside. She also likes that head and arm triangle throw. Sorry, not the triangle, the head and arm throw, which if you ever listen to any breakdown, I hate. But in fairness to her, she did it in her last fight, and she actually finished her opponent with ground and pound from that headed triangle, or what a lot of wrestlers would just call a headlock position. She will shoot on a takedown, and she's pretty relentless when she shoots on the takedown, and she often gets the takedown, either driving through. Another thing she likes to do is she likes to, when her opponents kind of come at her over aggressive, she'll just drop down underneath them and get the takedown when they over pursue. Once on top, she looks to advance the position, but she has lost positions looking to try to get a position. Instead of securing the position and then moving on, she'll rush it too quickly and lose the position. So as far as the prediction go, this is a tough fight. I actually think all 4 fights on the card in the Atomweight division tournament is really hard to pick. I think it's actually really good matchmaking. Both these fighters are very young, and at this point in their career, I'm not saying ever, but in this point in their career, I actually think they're not a true threat to Angela Lee, which is, supposedly the crown and jewel at the end. You win the Atomweight tournament, you get to fight Angela Lee for the actual championship. I'm going to go with Anderson, though. And I'm going to go with her because I think she wins the striking battle. And if the fight hits the ground, she could easily be out-wrestled. However, she could also just catch a submission herself with her length, her legs. So, to me, Anderson just has more avenues of victory. She could win on the feet or the ground. So, I'm going to say that she takes away the O from her opponent, Hirata, and she moves on to the second round. I say she wins a very close decision. Now, second fight. One of the fights that I'm mostly looking forward to, Meng versus Ratudu Fogat. Bo is a Chinese fighter. She's only 25 years old, but she has a lot of experience. She has 22 professional fights despite her young age. She's a good striker, has a very slip and rip style to her striking. Her right hand is definitely her best punch. She can be a little trigger shy, a little low output, but when she lets her hands go, she has nice snap on her shots, really steps into her shots, good power. She is heavy on her front foot, leaving her open to leg kicks, which I don't like. I think a good striker could take out her legs and kind of zap that power. But I like that she goes to the body. She throws out the occasional spinning attack to keep her opponents honest. Some mistakes she makes, though. She keeps her chin a little high for my liking. That's probably the biggest negative on the feet. But she's not one-dimensional. She can close the distance, battle in the clinch. She actually likes to battle in the clinch. She's a strong female fighter. She's strong for the weight class. She gets in there, looks for upper body takedowns. She's more of a top-side grappler. She wants to be on top when she's grappling. She has pretty active ground and pound, and she has 5 submission wins on her record. Now move over to Fogat. Indian fighter. She's only 27 years old. She comes out of the famous Fogat fighting family. She recently lost to Bina Wen, who I thought it was a terrible decision. I shouldn't say terrible decision. I thought Fogat won. It wasn't a robbery or anything like that. But back to her style. She's very aggressive on the feet. She throws very hard. She kind of wings her overhand right. Very wrestling style. That wrestler who falls in love with her right hand, a la Josh Koscheck, a la Dan Henderson. She makes the mistake, also similar to Hirata, what I was saying, when she throws, she kind of ducks her head a little bit too much. She's going to get caught up in the middle. but when she her bread and butter is wrestling, and when she gets it, she's very good. She's a great wrestler. She's got great entries. She does not set them up at times, but when she gets on your hip, she takes you down. Very strong top control, strong ground and pound. Though one thing I'm worried about is that she gassed out a little bit against, not a little bit, a lot against Binowen, and that's probably why she lost that fight. Though she looked much better in her last fight against Lynn Haquin. Lynn Haquin, I think I said that correctly. I apologize if I said her name wrong. So you like that as a young fighter moving forward, that she kind of seemed like she's already been fixing some of the holes. This is another tough one, and I'm going to say that for all 4 fights, I think both fighters are good and could actually win the whole tournament. Like the winner of this one, I like moving forward. I think they can make it pretty far. Meng should have the advantage on the feet, but sometimes she doesn't pull the trigger, and that could give Fogart the chance to really just out-wrestle her without having to worry about any pushback coming in, worried about walking through a jab, worried about body shots if she's not pulling the trigger. And I think that's going to happen. So give me Fogart. Now, right now, as I tape this, I can't find any betting lines. So if by the time you're watching this betting lines, see if I'm right or wrong. I'm actually thinking Fogart might enter because of her lack of experience. Doesn't really have a huge win on her record. I think she actually might enter as the betting underdog. And I actually like it. I'm gonna say that if that's true, I think she's gonna pull the upset. I say she's gonna win the decision just by out wrestling Bo for 15 minutes. So give me Fogart in and what I think is an upset. I apologize if it's not an upset. Moving on, really, really exciting fight. Stamp Fairtex versus Alyona Rassohyna. I apologize if I said the Ukrainian fighter's name wrong. This is when you think about this fight, you think it's striker versus grappler, as Rassohyna would be the grappler, and obviously Stamp Fairtex would be the striker. I don't really think that's the case, because I think Rassohyna is a much better striker than she gets credit for, and I think Stamp Fairtex showed in her last fight she's a better grappler than most people expect. This is actually a rematch. They both fought each other, where Rassohyna tapped out Stamp Fairtex with 7 seconds left in the fight. Stamp Fairtex claimed she didn't tap. I don't really know the whole backstory. It clearly looked on video that she tapped, but she did complain about it. So they're running it back in the first round of this tournament. Stamp Fairtex is a former One Championship Muay Thai champion. She's from Thailand, only 23 years old, very good striker. She's a counter striker, very fast. She works behind a beautiful jab. I love that she dips down to the body, really works. She kind of works down, up, take out the legs, take out the body, then eventually the head will be open. She throws kicks to set up her punches. Like I was just saying, she'll kick out the leg, and then she'll start a combination with the kick and then follow with her punches. Good power in both her hands. A lot of leg kicks. If you're getting close, she looks for these little short, beautiful elbows. Because she's a Muay Thai style, she's a little bit of a stationary target, stands right in front of her opponent, setting herself up to be taken down. She has weak takedown pads, but she's really improved in her grappling. And in fact, you go back to her last fight against Rassohyna. I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to mess her name up. Rassohyna, I believe is how you say it. She actually had her back. She had her mounted at times. At one point, Stamp Fairtex was actually going for a Google plotter in that matchup. So she seems a lot more comfortable than I expected her to be on the ground at this point. Then move over to the Ukrainian fighter, Rassohyna. Fast hands on the feet. She's a pocket striker. Likes to kind of get in the pocket, throw down some short, hard hooks. A lot of calf hooks also to her game. But she's also a very good grappler. Great entries. She's a submission threat. We saw that against Stamp Fairtex in the last fight, but she's a bit of an armbar specialist. She gets a lot of submissions by armbar. She's very aggressive to get the submission threat. She's willing to lose position to get something. That actually happened against Stamp Fairtex. So as far as prediction, this is an absolute awesome rematch. I think the first fight was really, really fun. It was a really close matchup before the submission. I think that first fight was awesome, and I expect the rematch to be just as good. I'm going to say, usually the fighter who wins the first fight historically speaking, will win the second fight. I don't think that's the case this one. I'm going to go with Fairtex. I had her winning until she got submitted the last time. I think she doesn't make that same mistake again. I think she improved so much on the ground from 2 fights ago to her last fight that we might see another improvement moving forward. I expect her only to continue to get better on the ground, be more comfortable on the ground, and obviously we know what she can do on the feet. So give me Fairtex by decision. Moving on, the last fight of the opening round of the Grand Prix, a absolute stellar fight. We have Shillan versus Denice Zamboanga. I believe I might have said her name correct that time. I believe I said it wrong earlier. I apologize again if I say her name wrong. Shillan, 34 years old, South Korean fighter. Been out of the sport of MMA for almost 2 years now. When she was last fighting in Rising, where she was the Atomweight champion in Rising, never lost the title. She's also a UFC veteran. We know her role stint in the UFC. She's making her one championship debut. She enters on a 6-fight winning streak. She's got tons of experience. She's 31 professional fights. As far as her style, she's southpaw. She's very light on her feet, good movement, high volume striker, fast hands. Her right jab is just brilliant. She's just popping it nonstop. Very accurate straight left. She really steps into her shots when she wants to unload. She can get wild and kind of just throw down the pocket when she should probably use more of a movement because she has good movement. She makes mistakes. She hangs her hands a little low. She kind of throws from her hips. She also has taken a lot of damage. I look at like her last fight against Hamasaki. Like that was she took, especially in the third round. She was eating a lot of punches. But that's what you get with her. She's exciting. She also likes to. She's not one-dimensional. She likes to grapple. She can get in the clinch. She likes to battle in the clinch. She really likes to land strikes, elbows, close quarter striking, and then she'll look for a takedown herself, a body takedown in the clinch. On top, good top control, busy ground and pound. She does have 3 submissions on her record. Move over to her opponent, Denice Zamboanga. Zamboanga is only 24 years old, from the Philippines. She's undefeated. She's a high volume striker, a pressure striker, moving forward, throwing big combinations, 4 or 5 punch combinations when she's attacking. Throws straight shots right down the pipe when she's attacking. She does stand very tall and loses power by just kind of on punching instead of stepping in. And she's just kind of touching and just winning with volume and winning with points than she is with trying to end the fight. But she's also very strong in the clinch. She gets in the clinch. Nice close striking, elbows, knees. Will add in some takedowns, good entries, busy ground and pound from on top. She also has 3 submission wins on her career. And if she's taken down, what I like about this one, when I've seen her taken down, she's active. She's either striking from her back, throwing up punches, throwing up kicks if her opponent's standing up, or she's looking to sweep or just create a space to get back up. And I like that I've seen her be able to go hard for 15 minutes in the fight, go hard the entire 15 minutes. So it's ready prediction go. This is a really fantastic fight. This fight is so good. It's really hard. I've kind of bounced back and forth on this one. But I'm just going to go with the youth. I'm going to go with the volume in the youth. Ham has taken a lot of damage. She's faced some really good competition, and she's proven to be one of the best Atomweights on the planet Earth for a while. But Zamboanga, she's younger. She has more volume. I like that she's well-rounded. I think she could hang on the feet and the ground. And everyone knows when it's a really close contest and I'm having trouble making a pick, I'm usually going to go with the younger fighter because they're at the age where they're going to make big growth. Like we might not have seen the best of Zamboanga. We probably, it's safe to say, we probably have seen the best of him. So give me Zamboanga by decision. So there you guys have it. That's the opening round. Those are my 4 picks. That's who I think the 4 fighters that move on. Get to the comment section. Tell me who you think is going to win that. But before you do, let's break down the main event. The main event is the strawweight champion, Jingnan, defending her title against Michelle Nicolini. I apologize if I said either fighter's name incorrectly. We'll start with the strawweight champion, 33 years old, from China, on the feet, very tight pocket boxing. She loves to get in the pocket, throw power shots, her overhand right, her left hook. She really just like whips her shots, especially the left hook. She kind of whips it out there. Though sometimes she can be a little too aggressive and kind of chasing, kind of loose technique by overextending, trying to trying to hit something that's not there. I like when she sits back and she try to, anytime her opponent comes forward, or a lot of times when the fighters fight, they kind of like, two of them move back together, they move forward together. They kind of do this thing. Sometimes what she likes to do is when her opponent's coming forward, she'll meet her there. Like she wants to meet them at the point of contact and win that battle. That's something I really like that she does. She throws a lot of combinations when she's attacking. I like that she goes down to the body. When she wants to use defensive movement, she does very good to kind of pull her opponent, like move back, and kind of trick her opponent that she's trying to escape away, when she's really just trying to pull them back and then trying to meet them at where she thinks is going to be there. And what's called is you're pulling into your power. You pull them into your power shots. That's something she does really good. Good leg kicks, though she doesn't really check leg kicks. Her last opponent, Tiffany Teo, had some success with kicking out the legs. Weak takedown defense, though. She's been taken down a lot. But she can win scrambles, and when she does, if she's on top, busy ground and pound, hard ground and pound. And one thing I like about her, she has the experience to go deep in fights. She's been in many championship fights. She can go deep in there, can go 25 minutes. I like that. Now move over to Nicolini. 39 years old, Brazilian. You don't like that being 39 years old. 2-year layoff, but when we last seen her, she defeated Angela Lee, which obviously that win has aged very well. She isn't very good on the feet at all. She kind of just throws wildly, no head movement, just arm throws, not really a lot of power. But if the fight hits the ground, she's an absolute wizard. She's a 13-time world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She's in the she's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Hall of Famer. Good entries, good at chaining her takedowns together if she wants to get the fight to the ground. But if she doesn't get on your hips to get you down, she's gonna just pull guard. She's willing to pull guard. Obviously, she's a submission threat everywhere. If she's on top, she advances position like so easily. I like that she's added ground and pound. She's not just looking for traditional jiu-jitsu. She will add strikes into her ground game. But if she's on her back, the negative is she can play BJJ off her back. She kind of wastes her time throwing up submission attempts instead of trying to create space and get back to her feet. Though, if you make a mistake, she'll sweep you on her back. I mean, she swept Angela Lee a couple times. But in that Angela Lee fight, she faded late. Like, it was only a 15-minute fight. This is obviously a 25-minute fight because I fought for the title. She faded late. Like, she still won against Angela Lee. But her takedown attempts in the third round started getting a lot uglier. So if Nicolini can get this fight to the ground, she could easily win it. And I think that's a huge possibility because we've seen Jingnan get taken down fairly easily. So the Chinese fighter, the champion, is going to have to avoid submissions. She's going to have to, if she's taken down, work up quickly, but not make a mistake that she gives up an arm, gives up her neck, gives up something while she's trying to work. And she's going to have to just kind of be very patient and try to get this fight to go deep into the fight. Because the deeper you go into the fight, I think that's when Nicolini starts to really slow down. And if she does, and Nicolini is passed out, is gassed out, this is when Jingnan can really just pick up the pace, take her out. And remember, one thing you have to remember about one championship, it's not scored round by round. It's scored as the entire fight as a whole. So she could drop the first 15 minutes. She could be way behind and then just do enough in the last 2 rounds to really come back and win. And I actually think that's what's going to happen. So give me Jingnan, the champion, Jingnan, to, and I guess, again, I apologize. I know I might be saying her name wrong, but Jingnan, if she weathers an early storm, avoids submission attempts, and then just turns on the volume and gets herself a decision win to continue to be the champion and hold on to the title. So there you guys have it. Those are my picks. If you got any picks for this card, post them in the comments. I appreciate you guys listening. Make sure if you like these ones, if you want to see more One Championship breakdowns, like it, share it, tell your friends, tweet it out on Twitter, whatever you like to do. Just get it out there so we can get more views and the brass, the important people at Sherdog will have me do more of these. So let's see you picks. See you next time, guys.